Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 51 of Show For You. Today we'll be going over Mercy by 12V. So, I actually learned how to say his name because I've been listening to Obsessed almost every single day recently, and it actually says it in that, he actually says it in that song. So, yeah. But today we'll be going over Mercy, which is a single that was released by him just literally a handful of hours ago. But this song is phenomenal. It is utterly phenomenal. I love the song every single second of it because, honestly, this song deserves a complete in-depth analysis on itself, like some video essay stuff. Like, I mean, it's not like 40-minute video essay long, but it's like it is a deep song. It's a good song and it's one that anyone can easily relate with. But yeah, honestly, I would say it would have fit right in on crap. I legit had the name of the second album in my head. Impatiently Waiting. Yeah, it's Impatiently Waiting. That's the name of the second album. It honestly would have fit in there. It would have fit in on what we call it, Vice. But I believe it would have fit in probably more on Impatiently Waiting because it was a little bit more of an experimental song. It was something new. It was a new sound, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, so with Mercy, it discusses kind of just mercy. And but so I guess what I'll get into first is it as beginning is discussing about kind of just I don't really. I'll just kind of break it down. So I guess I'll like give you some of the lines that were my favorite. So there's a line where he is discussing about feeling kind of weak, feeling down, and all he has is his voice. This is a very relatable concept for me because I mean I am a very I'll just say academically inclined individual. I love scholasticism. I love reading. I love studying. I love learning. I love learning. If I could do anything for my entire life, I would just want to learn for my entire life, which I can do and which I will do. And that just feeling of only having one's voice, I feel like it's applicable to something I've felt before. I believe that almost any human, when going throughout life, is going to feel as if they only have the thing which they deem as the greatest aspect of them. So some will say a great track athlete, they're gonna feel like all they have is running. That's the only thing that makes them important, and they don't have any other characteristics. And for me, I felt at one point that all I had was my brain. I thought the only reason why I had value was because I had a mind that could possibly do great things and was able to do very well in school. However, there is always a person to pull you out of that. Like for example, this song could act as a vestibule to pull you out of thinking that all you have is your greatest aspect. Instead, it will make you broaden your image of yourself and see a more complex and detailed view of yourself and to realize that there are other aspects of you which grant value unto the world. But like I said, for my brain, I presumed that I was only my brain for the longest time. But then my girlfriend came to my life and she was like, yo, you have stuff that is better than just this. And that helped me a lot. And once you get past that, you will just feel so much more satisfied with who you are and who you become and just everything. Because once you realize that you are worth more than just one thing, then that is when you can really start off your development as an individual. Because then you realize, hey, I can actually develop other things, and I'm not just a tool. I'm actually a human who has complexity and has many things to offer. But yeah, then the next one of the next predominant lines. Well, actually, I would kind of go into this because it discusses people being at a funeral and propping up their black umbrellas and all that while they act like they say, oh, I loved him and all that good stuff when they weren't there for you in your lowest times. And honestly, I highly relate with this line because one of my biggest fears is to have a funeral of a bunch of fakers. I know I'll be dead in the ground and I'll be wherever God destines me to go. But yeah, I just am terrified of having fakers because I believe that a person's success is determined by how many people respect and love them by the end of their death. If you can make as many people as possible love you and respect you by the end of your death, then you have become a successful individual. Even if it's a few people, the more people that you have who did that, who saw you as a phenomenal individual, the better you did in life. Because then your memory will live on forever. And I know it's corny, but I believe in the One Piece adage of a man only dies when he is forgotten. And when you have so many people that respect and love you at your deathbed, it will take forever for you to be forgotten because you will have forgotten because you will have left such an impact in that person's life that they will remember you and they'll tell their stories about you to their kids, and it's just passed down and passed down. So I fear that what if one day I don't succeed in that? I don't view myself as a success, and I end up having these fakers at my funeral rather than having people that truly love and respect me. Instead, I have a bunch of people who are just there to say they were there or to get something out of it, rather than just being there because they genuinely loved and respected me. That is a genuine fear of mine. I do not want to die a husk of an individual who had no one around him who cared about him truly. I want to have an impact on the people around me. I want to have a positive and beneficial impact on those individuals so that I can say that once my life ends, once everything's done and dusted, I can say I was truly successful in life. But yeah, so, and I mean, that fear was also kind of instilled on me by my parents, because my dad's always been like, yo, if when I die, just throw me in a ditch. We ain't having no big funeral. I don't want no fakers at my funeral. But yeah. So, then after that, there's a line about how he's discussing, kind of like a one-on-one with his mother, and he's saying, I know you're not the one that you hope for. Now, throughout my life, I have had phenomenally just immensely supportive parents. They have never drugged me down. They've always supported my endeavors. They've always made me feel better about my skill when I might have been being down on myself. However, that does not leave you from feeling a sense of inadequacy and feeling as if they could have wanted better. They could have had better. They deserved better. And like I said, with my academics, occasionally when I had faltered or something like that, I'd be like, maybe I'm not worth like her time. Maybe she would have wanted more. Maybe she could have had more. And I don't believe that's necessarily what the aspect is in this sense. I believe he's saying that his mother expected different of him, but he still ended up well. And though I know my mother didn't really expect anything grand, well, not in the bad way. She did not push any agenda on me and expect me to achieve that agenda. She expected me to do to the best of my ability what I could, and I did that. But occasionally, like I said, I faltered, and I felt as if she could have had better. She could have hoped for more. But yeah, so that was a really relatable line. But then we progress along the song and eventually get to the like Mercy chorus, which is a beautiful chorus. I love to hear the vocals in that. It's phenomenal. The piano playing throughout is phenomenal as well. I gotta find a different adjective. I gotta whip out a thesaurus. But it is stupendous, grand, wondrous. John adjective ran out of adjectives. But yeah, so then we get to a portion that I really loved at the end of the song, and this was where he starts speaking or singing in Greek, and he talks about leading the weak and the hopeless and all of that, and I believe that was the goal of this song. The goal of this song was to make people relate to this and see that they're not alone in their endeavors. They're not alone in feeling like they're too little for their parents. They're not alone in not wanting to die and just have fakers around them. They're not alone in just feeling like only one thing is what gives them value. And I believe this song does this phenomenally. It makes people realize, hey, you're not alone in your endeavors. You are not in solitude when you believe these things, because there are others out who are suffering it and thinking it as well. And that's always a valuable thing when it comes to anything with perception of yourself, because if you know other people are going through it, then you can commune with those other people and just move along with your beliefs and slowly build yourself up. Yeah, but what also I liked about this Greek part, because I was looking at it, and I'm a big fan of language learning, and I mean I've been doing it for 4 years, but like by the time I die, I want to be fluent in 5 non-English languages. I've been learning Spanish for 4 years and Hebrew for a couple of months, so I can talk to the big Yahoo himself. But no, I'm just doing it so I can actually read the Bible. Well, not read the Bible, but read the Old Testament in Hebrew, because I just think that'd be awesome to do. But yeah, Greek is one of the perspective languages that I would want to learn, because people in the Bible spoke Greek. And because the 3 big languages are Greek, Latin, and Hebrew. I'm not going to learn Latin because Latin is a dead language, so I can't really speak it with anyone. But if I were to learn another biblical language, I would learn Greek. So it was cool to see a Greek speaker. So I recognized the Greek when I saw it. I was like, hey, that's Greek. At first, I was like, hold up, is that Cyrillic? And I was like, no, that's not Cyrillic, that's Greek. And but yeah, it was cool to see that you're Greek, because like I said, I am a huge fan of language learning, and I love to see new different languages in songs wherever. And I love when I get that little like aha moment where I recognize a language. The little thing oh, I noticed it. But yeah, that was just a really lovely part of the song, and the Greek sounded really cool too, because like I've never heard Greek singing. I kind of recognized it because I've heard like some Eastern Orthodox like hymns. I think I don't know if Eastern. Okay, I apologize if Eastern Orthodoxy does not consider them hymns, but I'm a Southern Baptist Convention individual, so I consider them hymns. But or dirges, I have no clue. I don't know if they're referred to in Eastern Orthodox. Like I said, I apologize to any Orthodox viewers. But yeah, I just loved the sound of that. It was phenomenal, and the song was just It was great. It was just great throughout all the way. It was a lovely song, and I will be listening to it over and over again, especially once it gets on Spotify. Because it's not on Spotify yet, because it's only been out for a couple hours. But yeah, I would highly recommend going and listening to the song, because it is a masterpiece, as all of other 12V's masterpieces have been. So yeah, just thank you so much for watching episode 51 of Shelf Review, and that's all I have to say. So see you later.